Hey, and welcome back to Emlyn in the Mix, Season 2, Episode 44. Wow. Okay, we really are getting to the end of the year for 2021, so I'm going to go over some of the Black Friday deals that have already started and Cyber Monday deals, if that's what they are. I guess they're all in one combined. People are just jumping on the sales bandwagon. But before we get stuck into the podcast, we've got some really awesome hardware to talk about as well, and software today, which I'm really excited to show you guys. But before we get started, thank you so much for joining me. What is this podcast? For those of you who may be new listeners, this is, of course, a podcast on music technology, music software, music hardware, and all of the above. I'm wearing headphones today because it's raining quite loudly, but I'll be able to remove that sound. It'll just sound like I'm in a fresh, I don't know, nice, beautiful weathered garden. I don't know. I won't add any ambience. Anyway, my name is Emlyn, of course. This is Emlyn in the Mix. I don't know what I'm talking about already. You've got to learn what this podcast is about. Thank you so much to my regular listeners for coming back and checking out this podcast on a weekly basis. I know you love what you hear, and I go over as much of the cool new gadgets that are coming your way. Before we get stuck into these awesome Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, I do want to say that I'm not here to encourage you to spend money, which maybe you don't have. I know that it's Christmas time and there's a lot of money to be spent at this time of year, so I don't want you going deep into your pockets and spending everything that you have and not having any money for your loved ones. I merely just want to show you, I'm only showing you a few too. There's so many Black Friday deals already started, but I'm showing you the key ones, which I think are probably of good interest and good deals, of course. And if you've been eyeing any of these products off, then now is definitely the time to jump on board. So we're going to quickly scan through just a few deals that I've found in the last week, which I think are fantastic. And also there is a freebie in here. Yes, there is a freebie. There's a slight catch. You just have to sign up to an email list or something, but it's a freebie nonetheless. So we're going to cover that as well. Let's just get stuck straight into this podcast. As you can see, I ramble on, but that's what we do on the podcast. We have fun, we talk, and I love doing this podcast for you guys. All right. Welcome back to the Emlyn and Mix podcast. Let's get stuck into it. So first one I want to show you here is the Lursen Mastering Console is having an iOS sale. So if you have been eyeing this one off, this is of course for the iPad and iPhone, but this thing is phenomenal. I actually have this on I think I've got it on both the iPhone and the iPad. Wow, this is a beast. If you want something that's just very easy to get a good result on mastering your tracks, believe it or not, do not shun from this. It actually sounds incredible. They managed to emulate what is known as the Lursen room or studio or something, or the console, of course, in a particular studio. And it sounds great. It's got some great presets on it. You can actually, believe it or not, you can master your track on your iPad. Yes, indeed. And at the moment, as part of the deals we're going to cover, this is 50% off. So check that out there. If you're watching on the YouTubes, check that out. That is a fantastic sale, which is happening right now. Now, before we go on to the next one, I also forgot to mention you can support this podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, simply shout me a coffee. I've got the coffee here. I wake up early to do these podcasts for you. No kickback from me, from any of these retailers and music industry leaders. I don't know why. If you're watching on the podcast, you saw my hands going like this. Anyway, no kickback for me. If you want to support the channel, I would appreciate it muchly. Link will be in the description of this podcast and on the YouTube video. All right, next deal to us comes from IK Multimedia again. So their Black Friday deals have started. And they got some incredible deals here. If you've been eyeing these off, again, no kickback from IK Multimedia. I know we covered them a lot on the channel. They are a friend to Emlyn in the Mix. Full disclosure, they have given me software in the past to review and hardware. But at the moment, no kickback, of course, with these deals. They're just fantastic deals. $39.99 USD or Euro for a bunch of products here. It looks like you can get Amplitude 5, Miroslav Philharmonic 2, Sample Tank 4. These are all the SE versions, so they're slightly cut down versions. T-Rack S5 SE, Moto Drum SE, Moto Bass. If you've watched any of my videos on YouTube, or even on the podcast, you've heard me talk about Moto Bass before. I love Moto Bass. It is an incredible A completely new breed of instrument that delivers the best of both worlds. Yes, this is off the website. The realism and sound of an instrument being played by a master musician and the convenience of a plug-in virtual instrument featuring 2 models, 60s P bass and 70s P bass. It just is an awesome bass emulator. So if you like your bass emulators, right now you can get them super cheap. That's another deal there. Let's have a look at this next one. So if you've been eyeing off Soundtoys before, their Black Friday sale has already started. This ends on December 1st. This is crazy good price, by the way, because this is normally the Soundtoys 5 full bundle is normally $500. It's now $229. Or you can buy their effects rack, which is just the effects rack. You don't get all the individual plugins, but I think you can use them inside the effects rack anyway. So this is a fantastic deal for only $129. Now, again, I'm only mentioning these Black Friday deals if it's been that you've been thinking about getting this software. Well, now definitely would be the time. But again, I want to reiterate that I don't want to encourage you guys spending money if you don't quite have it. It's just I want to make them known, which they probably already are if they're hitting your inbox, but I want to make them known that these are great deals. That's all. And yeah, it is the best time to get these software deals. The next one comes to us from Native Instruments. And they've got some incredible deals on the Complete 13 bundle, which is at 50% off at the moment, which is crazy. And you get so much now in Complete 13. For me personally, I think I'm already on Complete 12. I didn't really find the need to upgrade. Then maybe now is the time for me because I've got an upgrade path at 50% off, but I'm not sure. Complete 12, has pretty much all the kit and caboodle. But if we have a look here, synthesizers wise, you got Massive, Monarch, Reactor Prism, Reactor Factory Selection. Sampled instruments, you've got heaps. You got Ethereal Earth, Hybrid Keys, Retro Machines, Scarborough Mark 1, Scarborough Rickenback Bass, The Gentleman, which is this really nice sounding piano, Vintage Organs, West Africa, Drum Lab, Contact Factory Selection. You got a bunch of effects. Oh, you get expansions. I forgot about this. So you get expansions if you're a machine user, or even these expansions can just be used as samples in your Battery 4 and drum players and that sort of thing. Get a bunch of expansions. I mean, that's just for the Complete Select, but still it's a worthy upgrade. And now at 50% off, I mean, yeah, if you've been eyeing it off, now's the time. But again, not here to make you spend money which you don't have, just want to show you the deals, okay? So this next one is for you cheap asses. No, just kidding. This is the freebie I was talking about. Can you believe it? We got a freebie, and this comes to us from Slate Digital. Yes, there is a catch. You need to sign up to their email list, but this is really good. And this offer ends actually at the end of the year, 31st of December. I'm definitely going to download this. I just need a little bit more space on my hard drive. But they're basically giving away all of their sample packs, which they announced over the last year. And it includes a bunch of sample packs, all free. So you get the R&B sample pack, Saturn R&B, Pasadena Pop sample pack, Vibrations Ambience Electronic sample pack, Axe Guitar sample pack, Slate Midnight Synthwave sample pack, Aurora Lo-Fi sample pack, Seismic Drum sample pack, Empress Trap Soul sample pack. Look, every genre is covered. You've even got a Vox. This is so cool, and it's all free. Of course, there is a catch. You do need to sign up to an email list, but this is a great deal. And there you go, guys. There's a freebie here as well. Let's have a listen to one of these. Like, they're pretty high quality. I personally like synthwave. Let's have a quick listen to this. All right, I think you get the idea. Wow, big, lush sounding. This is all from the sample pack, Slate Midnight Synthwave. Just one of these many sample packs. Let's listen to one more. I know some of my listeners out there, they like a bit of hip-hop, a bit of trap. Let's have a listen. Empress Trap Soul.
You said you wanted my love again.
Nice.
You said you wanted my
You said you wanted my love again. You said you wanted my love again. It's the summer and love again.
You said you wanted my
Wow. These are high quality, guys. These are absolutely high quality. And again, this is all free. We've gone over some of the deals there, but I wanted to mention this one because it's a great deal. Yeah, you got to sign up or whatever, and they're probably going to promote their all access pass, which is looking more and more sweeter every day as every day passes and they add more excellent software to that all access pass from Slate Digital. It looks more and more tempting, but this is sort of a no-brainer. If you want or you need more samples, they have you covered pretty much on every genre here, and we could keep playing them back and back. There's some great examples, great music, even the guitar stuff. Let's just have one more listen because I got to hear this. This is Axe. I want to hear the guitar samples. Here we go. Big, bright production, fantastic samples, and often the samples is what can really help to get your mix. If the sample's already very high quality, they can get your mix sounding really good almost straight away. All right, that's the free sample packs from Slate Digital. Check it out. It's a freebie. All right, let's move along to this next piece of news. This is a brand new piece of software. Very exciting in the music technology spectre. This is Split EQ, and they're touting a new era of equalization. I know EQs are not sexy. I know we're pretty much probably covered every type of EQ, but I think there's a twist with this one. I think this is, let's give these guys a shot. Let's check it out. What is it all about? So it's from Eventide Audio. So more than a great sounding EQ, Split EQ is a groundbreaking EQ that offers a fundamentally new approach to corrective and creative audio equalization. It excels at repairing, rebalancing, enhancing, and widening any musical source or audio signal. Split EQ is both a surgical tool for fixing particularly nasty problems and a creative tool as it opens up exciting new musical possibilities. More than just an EQ, it's a new and better tool. At first glance, it's a parametric EQ with 8 bands of precise musical filters. What's new and different is Eventide's powerful structural split engine, which divides the incoming audio into separate transients and tonal streams that feed the 8 bands. And this approach makes common EQ problems easy to solve, even in a complex mix. Want to soften the transients? Use the master transient gain slider. Remove plosives or DSs? Yes, Emlyn, you need that. EQ only the transients. Reduce snare, ring. Put a filter on the tonal mids. Pop. I'm getting a bit of pop actually when I say yeah, that's not good. The pop filter doesn't seem to be working. Anyway, by applying EQ and panning to transients and tonals separately, you can fix many of the problems normally attacked using complex combinations of EQ, compression, transient designers, DSs, multiband compressors, spatial processing, or dynamic EQ. Simplify and declutter your workflow, get better results, and create new sounds. I just realized though, this voice that you're hearing right now on the podcast and on YouTube has a lot of processing on it. Maybe some of those plosives won't make it through. I have like it's raining like really, really freaking heavily right now, and this studio is in a stupid room. It's got a tin roof, of course. Yes, not the best place to have a studio, but it's quite loud, hence I'm wearing headphones. But I imagine you probably cannot hear the rain only because I have all this sort of sound reduction and all this crazy technology going on my voice right now, which is crazy to me. I just think that sort of stuff is impressive. How can a piece of software recognize a certain sound or an ambience and remove it so easily? Well, welcome to 2021. Hence this podcast, music technology, my passion. Absolutely. Where are we going? Totally digressing off the topic, of course. Have a quick look here on the screen though. This GUI looks very nice. Does it remind you of another EQ plugin? It does a little bit to me. It does look a lot like FabFilter's Q3. Yes, and I believe even Waves has joined the parametric EQ, colorful sort of precisive tool thing. Why? And if you got a good thing, sure, copy it and make the most of it. But let's look, because they're claiming you can get in there in the mids and sides. I know you can do that with FabFilter Pro Q3 as well. I think we should just have a quick listen. It's the best way to know how this EQ actually sounds. EQ, it is not a sexy tool. Yes, it's a little bit of a boring, but it is a necessity in mixing. Like we listened to that Slate Digital examples just before, and they were very bright, there was a bit of top endy going on there, but they were very pop, like especially that last sample I showed you with the guitar. And no doubt you need EQ and processing to get your track to jump out of the speakers. So EQs are necessary if you're in the market for looking for one. This has an introductory price, by the way. Check it out by Eventide Audio. If this fits your bill, let's have a quick listen to the demo here.
Bypass.
This is on Drumkick, of course.
Transient solo.
That is impressive, actually. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so you can solo off.
Unsolo.
Okay, I see what you can do. So you can sort of get right in there. This is vocals.
Escapes me. I'm
Transient solo.
in a never-ending dream. Away,
Tonal solo.
floating. I'm starting to think I've lost my mind.
Unsolo.
And my body's drifting misaligned.
All right, now we've got a guitar example.
Bypass. Transient solo. Tonal solo. Unsolo.
Very, very good examples there. So I can see where the difference really lies with this plugin as opposed to FabFilter Q3, just from that example there, is that so you can get right in there, very precisive tool to get into the EQ area that maybe you want to fix up, and then you can solo your transients or your tonal sounds, and then you can sort of hear where the nasty frequencies and so forth are coming, then unsolo and then bring everything back together. I can see the benefit of that. It's sort of just like another way of getting right in there and surgically removing something from your mix. Very, very nice indeed, Eventide Audio. Check out Split EQ. If this interests you, you like that surgical equalizer mixing style. Again, I'm a big fan of FabFilter Q3, but I may need to check this out by Eventide Audio. It's an 8-band parametric EQ. It has stereo imaging, of course, which is a delight to see on, of course, a plugin of this day and age. Definitely needed. Graphical display, so it has analyzer, of course, as you can see from the GUI there. This is fantastic. I can see where they've gone with this and how it has a new angle on a tool which, again, is not the most exciting, but is necessary. Check it out. Split EQ. Well done to Eventide Audio, pushing the boundaries. Let's move on to our next piece of news. This comes to us from the kings of software emulation. I'm calling them the kings. It's Universal Audio. Yeah, their plugins are not cheap, but they do an amazing job with their plugins and their emulators. So now you can get the sound of Joy Division, Nirvana, and Brian Eno. Yes, isn't that that's the Windows guy, isn't it? Brian Eno introduced in 1978 the AMS DMX 1580S. Yes, it's a mouthful. You're not going to remember it, but listen to the podcast over and over. Maybe you will. Was the world's first microprocessor controlled 15-bit digital delay and pitch shifter. That's pretty interesting. Used on classic albums for its unmatched soundscapes and textures, the AMS DMX is famous for adding iconic 80s era space and depth. And exclusively for Apollo audio interfaces and UAD hardware, the AMS DMX digital delay and pitch shifter is the only plugin that gives you the authentic sound of the rare AMS hardware. Now, of course, I know there's a lot of Apollo users out there. If you're not a Universal Audio guy or you don't have an Apollo interface, this will not be of interest for you because it will not work on anything other than that. Of course, using the processors on board the Apollo. But this is pretty cool, and you know the emulation is going to be tight. Now, yes, again, if you don't have Universal Audio, you can skip along to the next product. But stay with me here because I'm going to play some audio demos as well, so we can have a quick listen to it. So with this, you can now record a mix with the world's only authentic AMS DMX digital delay plugin developed by original hardware designer Mark Crabtree. Get double tracking effects made famous by Prince, Radiohead, and Phil Collins. Add iconic delay and pitch shifting effects to drum machines, vocals, synths, guitars, and more. And mix with artist presets from Chris Cowdy, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Yeahs, Beach House, Chuck Zwicky, Prince, Reggie Watts, and Ivan Barrios, Justin Timberlake, Jill Scott, and more. There's a little video here. I'm just going to see if we got some sound demos for you guys here. Okay, we'll play the video back. I don't know how long it is. Let's just see. Here we go. We got some samples.
It's so hard to find someone who knows you. And freedom is knowing why a caged bird sings and listening. Are you listening?
All right, that's turned off. Back on.
Come out of the darkness.
Nice. All right, we got another sample here.
I keep the lights on.
Okay, that's on. Off. Back on. Wow. Off. Back on. Here it's on. Now it's off. Now it's on. On some guitar. Sparkly guitar. There, it's on now. This is on. Now you can turn it off there. You can hear it when it turned off. Back on. Wow, nice ambience. Back off. On. Alright, there it is on. Okay, there it is off. Oh, it sounds completely different. That's incredible. Here we go, back on. Wow. Wow. Look, being Universal Audio, you know they've captured the essence and emulated this plugin right. Sorry I was talking over that whole audio demo. I just want my podcast listeners to know when that is on and when it's off. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to cut that out in post-production. I hope it wasn't too annoying. I know if you're on YouTube, you can see when it's enabled and disabled, but that was impressive. That was a very good demo indeed. So it's an era-defining studio processor. Upon its introduction, AMS DMX was hailed as a digital wonder, featuring 2 independent delay channels, just over 6 seconds of delay time, and groundbreaking de-glitched pitch shifting. Its signature ambience gave artists characterful doubling delay, chorus, pitch shift, and ambient effects from the 80s to this day. So yeah, you can see here if you're looking on the screen, featured in these massive albums. You got Nirvana, you got Prince Purple Rain in there, among many other classics. Add sonic intrigue to any source. Used AMS, DMX, digital delay, and pitch shifter plugin to add vintage digital delay dimensions to drum machines, synths, or guitars. And you can also use it for automatic doubling, tracking effects, and unique arpeggio patterns on vocals, horns, and many more. So the plugin only features the AMS DMX plugin not only gives you all the revision features of the vintage rack mount units, including the rare, expansive, chorus controlled module, you get modern upgrades like tempo sync, dual VCO mode, dry wet mix, wet solo, and more. Perfect partner for AMS RMX 16 reverb. So combine the AMS DMX digital delay plugin with the AMS RMX 16 digital reverb plugin for the ultimate in vintage digital processing and give your productions the pioneering sound of two legendary creative tools. So there's another one there that's been emulated by Universal Audio, but this thing sounds really good. And if you got a Universal Audio Polo and you're after this sound, this is for you. All right, next piece of news here. This comes to us from Pioneer. This is from my DJ friends. Pioneer DJ just dropped an announcement this last week, releasing the DJ-RX3 2-channel performance all-in-one DJ system. Yes, it is happening, and this is exciting. This makes me so pumped. I love this. Being a DJ myself, I love how we went, and I've spoken about this on the podcast before, but I love how the sort of evolution of DJing, especially the hardware, how we've gone from originally when I started, it was turntables, would you believe? That was early noughties. Turntables were in. Vinyl wasn't as expensive as it is now. Like in 2021, vinyl's just stupidly expensive. Just forget about vinyl. But we went from that. Then we went to CDJs, the CD players. Then we went to, basically we went over the computers. The crossover from CDs to computers was a little bit slow because computers weren't quite there, or at least the software wasn't quite there. And then we were on computers. I'm still rocking a laptop when I DJ this. There's not that much DJing at the moment, just with the lockdowns and so forth. But now I love the idea of going all in one, where all you have to do is rock up with a USB stick, you plug it in, and your controller does everything. No computer screens. There's no blocking. See, the thing I didn't like about laptops, and I'm still using them, but I will get across to the all-in-one systems, is that I feel like the laptop is a barrier between you and the party. So these all-in-one players, they get rid of the laptop, and now you are exposed to the party, and your energy, your vibe, everything you're doing with your music can now be translated and communicated to your party. And that's just, to me, that's just awesome. This has all the bells and whistles. If you want to do your streaming DJing online, yes, you can do all of that, of course. It's Pioneer. They are essentially, they're the top sort of tier in DJ hardware. So you know you're going to get everything you could possibly want. Has the mixer, everything. Okay, so the DJ-RX3 boasts flexibility and practicality while packaging in a host of features that come straight from the club standard CDJ 3000 multiplayer and DJM 900 NX2 mixer. With the brand new 10.1-inch touchscreen, you can instinctively browse playlists, mix tracks, and apply effects, and the unit's refined design brings a pro look to your setup. It certainly does. I wonder how big it is. Let's just, if you're looking here on the screen, you can see it there. We'll pull up some different pictures. Looks very nice. So this got this huge 10-inch touchscreen here. You got the big traditional jog wheels. You've got your sample pads down here, play, cue, in, out for your loops. You got your effects. You got your big color knobs here as well. EQ, high, mid, and low, gain and trim at the top, master level. It's just a traditional, no mucking around Pioneer DJ all in one. This is fantastic. You got your power in the back. You got line in. You got 2 line in and 2 phono in as well. You got your master out. You've also got RCA out, and you've got 1/4 inch out, which is really nice to see because not everyone has this XLR out balanced out unless you're at a club or you're playing on a big PA system like I'll be doing when I'm DJing for weddings and parties and that sort of stuff. Yes, I'm not doing the big club gigs at the moment, at least. 10.1-inch touchscreen with new interface. Looks really nice, very colorful indeed. And it The thing I like about Pioneer is I really like their record box software, which is used to analyze your music and curate your playlists. So you can have all your playlists and stuff. I'm going to play the video back. I'm not sure if it's a really super... We'll see. Let's have a look. Let's just see. Can we play this back? Oh, it's not too long. I don't know if it has dialogue. I may need to talk with you guys. Oh, it's just a trailer, basically. Yeah, it looks amazing, though. Big screen. That's cool. Feel like I'm DJing. State of flow. Look, yeah, you know you're getting a Pioneer. You know you're gonna be getting all the bells and whistles you possibly need. DJ-RX3 there, and there was another. I think there was another little video. Maybe not. Here we go. We'll play a little bit of this back. I think it just showed some of this. Yeah, let's play this back. So this covers exactly what you can do here, okay? Beat loop. And you can do it on the screen. You can touch it, press it in. Filter it up. Nice. It's got some release effects. You heard when you press the button, it sort of delayed off. That was pretty cool. Nice scrolling. Easier navigation and browsing. Create your playlists on the fly, which is pretty cool. Playlist banks. So you can touch preview as well, audition any track without loading it. So he's just putting his finger through it and he's able to preview that track without it going out to your main PA. Countdown timer. I know this sounds silly, but this is exciting. Having a countdown timer. Knowing my DJ set's ending. I love this. So you can type it in. He's typing it in there. 30 minutes remaining for his DJ set. I know that seems ridiculous, but this is actually an exciting addition. This is the release effect, so we're going to hear it. There you go. So you can inject the performance. There you go. That sounds great. So you can press the pad. It'll give you a release effect. You got turntable stop down, mute, filter, build ups, and short spins. Classic short spin effects. Alright, we're going to look at beat effects now. You got different effects you can assign. That's cool. Oh, you got an X pad on the screen. All touch screen, which is very good. Gate cues as well. Very nice. Plenty of inputs as we spoke about. And you can unlock the power of it with Rekordbox, the software, and Serato DJ Pro. Support for Serato DJ Pro if you're a user of that. It's the all-in-one system, DJ-RX3. Hope that made sense for you guys on the podcast there, but it's definitely an exciting addition. If you do want to have a look at what we just viewed together there on the podcast, you can head over to Emlyn in the Mix on YouTube to check that out. That is the all-in-one system by Pioneer DJ, and I think this is very exciting. I believe they may have already sold out here in Melbourne, Australia. I could be completely wrong, but this thing is a beast. All right, let's move along to our next exciting piece of news. Two exciting new pieces of hardware coming to us from Roland. So they just announced the JD-08 sound module. This is part of their Roland Boutiques series. So this is a digital classic with modern flair. With its retro workflow, evocative sounds, and powerful effects, the JD-800 was a favorite for top electronic music producers through the 90s and beyond, combining the original JD-800 waveform and advanced modeling techniques. The JD-08 delivers the exquisite hands-on sound design of the original, along with hugely expanded polyphony, a two-part polyphonic sequencer, and other modern updates. So you can see it here if you're looking on screen. Plenty of on-hands control of all the parameters. Now, we spoke about the software version of this last week in the podcast. If you have listened to that, you'll know what this is about. But we will play some demos back here of the JD-08 programmable synthesizer sound demo. This one's called Millennium. Let's have a quick listen to this. Beautiful. All right, let's have a quick listen to the massive pad here as well. Get an idea of what this synth can actually do. Nice indeed. So that is the JD-08. Gosh, not a demo going? Why not? All right, we're going to stop that there. That is, wow, how big did that pad sound before? The massive pad, like from a tiny little thing. They really captured the essence in these Roland Boutiques. And again, so much hands-on control here. If you're having a look here on screen, you got so many, basically every parameter. It looks like there's no menu diving. It looks like every parameter is there. Yes, it is the cut down version of the JD-800. We did speak about this last week, and Roland did just release last week the software version of this expanded sound for the modern age. While the original design of the JD-800 is retained in this modern version, there are a range of updates that take the experience to another level. New patches plus 256 memory locations let you dive deep into the huge array of controls to create new sounds for your music. With expanded polyphony and two-part multi-timbral capability, there's even more room to stretch out your sonic ideas. I really like the Roland Boutique series. I've never actually gotten one, but I feel like this release is now going to push me a little bit, because I feel like they really pushed themselves to either capture this emulation, but not only that, really capture that design, because this is an iconic synthesizer that had all of that hands-on control in a digital age when, especially in the late 80s and early 90s, like digital synthesizers were really, really big, and there was so much menu diving and not so much hands-on control as this JD-800 provided. Now, there's a little bit more I just want to read here. So music that moves. Once you've locked in your patches, fire up the 2-part polyphonic sequencer and start programming leads, bass lines, or basic chords to sync with other pieces in your electronic ensemble and to bring some animated movement to your sounds. Tap into motion, recording, and the onboard arpeggiator to make your musical lines dance. So you can see here, we've got a picture of 2 Roland Boutique instruments sort of connected to each other, and that is very cool. So you got MIDI, USB, and external clock input. The JD-08 features a built-in USB-C audio MIDI interface so you can play, record, and synchronize with all types of computer production software. Full-size MIDI I/O is also available for interfacing with other MIDI hardware, and there's even an external clock input for driving the JD-08's onboard sequencer and arpeggiator from vintage analog instruments and modern URAC systems. I gotta say, this piece of hardware does excite me a lot. Now you can also get Roland also sells the miniature keys, which this hooks up to as well if you are more of a compact sort of person. So it says here the compact JD-08 fits just about anywhere and is easily controlled from a master keyboard. So you could just have it, your whatever your big master keyboard is in your studio or computer DAW. It can run on standard AA batteries for hours of uninhibited jamming. That's impressive. And there's also a built-in speaker. What? Now I love built-in speakers. Whenever someone mentions that, whoever's in the R&D of this Roland, hands down, shout out, thank you for putting built-in speakers. That is the bomb, having a built-in speaker and something of this size too. For on-the-go sound mixing, add a DX01 boutique dock. That's the thing I was talking about, which is those little keys there for a polished look and 3 convenient tilt positions or grab a K25M keyboard unit to create a fully self-contained portable instrument. I love what Roland's doing, and I love this Roland Boutique. This may have just kicked me over the edge to want to get. They did release 2, so they also released the JX-08. I'm not as familiar with the JX-08, but let's have a quick look. So it says here an 80s icon on your tabletop. In 1985, Roland's innovative JX-8 took hybrid synthesis a step further with a compelling new analog digital voice. The instrument was instantly embraced by top session players who forever embedded its warm pads, shimmery chorus, and crystalline textures into the era's most popular tracks. The JX-08 reintroduces the unique sound of this sought-after classic in stunning detail, coupled with powerful new effects and polyphonic sequencer and more. And to enhance your creative flow, there's a full panel of hands-on control derived from the companion PG800 programmer unit for the original hardware. So we can have a quick look here. This looks good too. You got a lot of hands-on control. I love how somehow in these Roland Boutiques, even though they're tiny, they've managed to put all these little parameter controls on the interface without having too much menu diving. It's very nice to see. Let's have a quick listen to the JX-08. Here we go. Nice. Let's listen to one more. Next one here, Bit Crash Bass. Let's have a listen to this one. Very nice demo indeed. Wow. I love what Roland's doing. I love they're doing this, sort of bringing these Roland Boutiques from these classic synthesizers, putting them into these tiny little forms. We should be so grateful. Like, you could build your whole studio based around these Roland Boutiques, have them connected into your DAW. You're getting these original, really classic, nice Roland sounds. If you like Japanese synthesizers, you like that Japanese synthesized sound, these are going to deliver on all fronts. And being the Roland, they're going to be good quality. You've got deep effects on here, music that moves. You can do the connectivity thing here as well. Wow. I'm very interested, especially in the JD-08. But look, that's going to have to do it for today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And I know we looked at quite a few things today. Definitely keep your ears to the ground on Black Friday deals. I will definitely be covering them in next week's podcast as well as we move closer to, of course, Black Friday. And then I think the podcast in 2 weeks' time from now will be right in the middle of that Black Friday Cyber Monday deal. I could be completely wrong. What is it today? 13th? 7. Yes, it will be. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be right in the weekend when all the crazy deals are going. I'll try and cover as much as I can. Yes, but also keep your wallets by your hip side. You know, don't just go out spending and then you have nothing. Of course, you want to look after yourself as well during Christmas time. I know it hasn't been easy for most people, especially this last couple of years with what's been happening around the world. But I also just want to show you, not to just encourage you to go crazy spending money or whatever, but just, it's a good time though, if there is something you've been eyeing off for a while, you know, maybe just dive into one of these deals. And of course, check out that freebie as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. This has been Emlyn. Now, just before I go, if you want to shout me a coffee, would absolutely love it. Link in the description below in the YouTube video and on the podcast. And also, I haven't mentioned this a while on the podcast where I love your feedback. I read them all. You can simply leave me a review for this podcast. You can do it in the podcast app, I believe. No, you can do it. I've checked it out. It's very easy. I used to think it was hard, but it's actually quite easy. What am I talking about? You just go into the podcast app, scroll, go to Emlyn Mix, scroll to the page or something, and you can see reviews. You can add a review if you've been enjoying it. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe to the Emlyn in the Mix YouTube if you haven't already. I'm sure you have already. And that's going to be it for the podcast today. Thank you so much for joining me on episode 44, season 2, Emlyn in the Mix podcast. Thank you so much, guys. Peace out. Bye.